Hey guys, if you're watching this video right now, I just got back from watching the new Superman movie, Man of Steel, and let me tell you, I really liked it. I really do like it a lot. It was just literally mind-blowing what this movie is. Basically, over the years we've had a lot of different Superman movies, right? Like back in the 80s, we had the late Christopher Reeve, who did an amazing job in the previous Superman movies, like Superman 1, released in 1978. Then later on in the 80s, we had Superman 2. Then it went downhill with Superman 3 and the worst, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, which was just really bad. It was just stupid. I didn't really like it, though. The review the Nostalgia Critic had with Linkara summed it all up, believe me. But then later on, we had Superman Returns, and it was a disappointment. I didn't really like it. But it was then the reboot came, Man of Steel, and let me tell you, I was literally blown away by just how amazing the film was. It was amazing. I was just, my God, it was just awesome. The actors really did a great job for it. For example, the actor who played Superman, Henry Cavill, he did an amazing job. He felt like Clark Kent, and it was just really cool. It was just really cool. But the funny thing is, they never even mentioned Superman until later on in the movie. And I forgot to mention that this review is going to have some spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie and you're watching this video, close your window, watch the movie in theaters, and then come back. So let's go. Basically, the story begins like in a Superman movie, like the original Superman movie. However, there are some huge differences. And one of the differences is that Jor-El, played by Russell Crowe, and let me tell you this right now, Russell Crowe really did an amazing job as Jor-El. He felt like Jor-El. The funny thing is that Jor-El and the villain General Zod, which is going to premiere in Injustice in DLC in July, they were once actually friends, which is kind of strange because I believe that in the original Superman movies with Christopher Reeve, I think that General Zod and Jor-El were enemies. But here in this reboot, it's actually, they were once friends because they actually did work together. And the film actually provided a huge history of Krypton and everything. It's just so mind-blowing. And let me tell you, I really was amazed by it. I mean, there were a lot of great things about the movie. It's just, it felt so different. And we already know about the main story of Superman, right? Born on an alien planet. The alien planet's about to go boom. The parents of the aliens send him away, and then the planet explodes. However, here it's just so different. It's just wow. I was literally flabbergasted by how crazy and amazing it was. I am not kidding. It's just so intense. But anyway, the main plot, as always, is basically, we already know the Man of Steel, right? But not in this sort of level. It's just, I'm trying to find the right words for this because there are so many things that I like about the Man of Steel, the movie. Basically, the acting was very good. The actors, the choices they made were amazing. And yeah, it made you feel like it. It just made you feel like you actually can relate to them, especially the main protagonist, Henry Cavill, the actor Henry Cavill, who played Superman. And it was just, my God, it was just really awesome. And the funny thing about this is that the actor was considered for Superman Returns, but lost the part. I don't know if it's a godsend or something else, but I believe that Henry Cavill is a great Superman. The other characters were really good, especially the villain, General Zod. General Zod was a badass villain. And this is not coming from somebody who always likes seeing interesting villains. But this villain, he actually felt threatening. And I was like, what the hell? This was just amazing. Zod was one of the best Superman villains we had in comic books. You know how in comics with General Zod, the mortal enemy of Superman and everything? And the funny thing about it is that during the film, we actually see like the effects of how Kryptonians react on Earth because having their powers manifested. And I could spoil away most of the plot, but basically it's a traditional Superman plot with some minor differences. Basically, Clark Kent has to adjust to life on Earth. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, he ends up saving people. And what I also noticed on one of the flashbacks is that he didn't want to hurt people. He didn't want to hurt a bully who picked on him. And it was pretty surprising because I think he's more like a pacifist because he doesn't want to condone to violence. He doesn't want to hurt because what would be a Superman if the Superman you would normally see would rather hurt someone in response? Besides, he didn't want to hold back. He didn't want to like hurt him because that would make him be no different. There's a difference between passive and aggressiveness, and when he was a kid, Clark Kent chose the passive way. And I do have to say, everything about it is just really good. I keep on saying it's really good because I'm not going to lie. This is actually way better than the 2006 film Superman Returns. And I really liked it. And we actually get some interesting backstory explaining like how General Zod got imprisoned in the Phantom Zone for 300 cycles, more or less a very long time. Well, not really a long time, but you get my point. And how he was able to get to Earth due to the actions of our hero. The fight scenes were just amazing, especially the fighting at the end. It was just intense, all-out, drag-out war. I swear to God, I can't find the right words for it. I mean it. Because it's just so good, you have to watch it for yourself. I'm only saying this because I watched it with my mom and my stepdad when we went to the theaters today, and we saw it in 3D, and oh my God, I was literally blown away. It was just amazing. It was just awesome, and I really liked it. Now, there are some things I do like. I already mentioned I like the action scenes. I also like that the actors who portrayed them, they actually felt like really good. It made me feel like I was watching the original Superman, except it's much different. It's like a mix of the first Superman and the second, because in the second Superman film in 1982, Superman had to go up against General Zod and two of his other generals. And believe me, General Zod was just a real badass, though he looked completely different than what he is now. In 2013, he was actually a better villain, and I really liked General Zod. It's just the fighting itself was insane. It was just truly insane. I am not kidding. It was insane. General Zod, portrayed by Terrence Stamp, was a pretty interesting villain. Then later on, in The Man of Steel, he was portrayed by Michael Shannon, and it was just, wow, a warrior. And we actually find out that the guy was a warrior, and how Kryptonians basically are shaped to how they see fit. They're shaped like to be decided for them. Like, for example, like if you were born on the planet Krypton, you would be given a choice. You would be chosen to do different things, like be a warrior, be an assistant, be a scientist, be all different things. It was insane. My God. Though I was surprised that when he first appeared, he had like armor, though, and it told me right off the bat, this guy's just holding back. But at the end, when his armor went off, I was just, oh my God, that was insane. Though I was pretty surprised on the technology of Krypton, because General Zod and his forces were just devastating. I thought, wow, it was just insane. But what I was really surprised at the fact that, well, Jor-El basically sort of helped not just Superman, but also Lois Lane. Lois Lane, portrayed by the actress Amy Adams. She was a very good Lois Lane. I really liked seeing Lois Lane. She was always so determined. The surprising part in one scene, which I won't spoil, which is literally, oh my God, that was insane. Though, unlike most Lois Lanes that I've seen who would always like follow orders to their boss, Perry White, though in here, Perry White, I believe, is an African American, which I don't mind it, editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet. And the boss was a hard ass, I'll tell you that. He was a hard ass. He was really a hard ass, though I always thought that he had a good heart. Hence why in one scene where Perry White had to save one of his assistants, it was just insane, and I was just really amazed by it. And Lois Lane was just so different. She was like really different than what you would normally expect. And I have to admit, it was good. Now, I also like the villains. Yeah, I already mentioned that General Zod was a good villain, especially the fighting at the end, especially in one scene where, oh my God, I was literally freaking out. I was literally shocked because the fighting between Superman, the dynamic between Superman and General Zod was simply the highlight of the movie. The highlight, more or less. Basically, you see these two people. You see one Kryptonian who believed in life, who wanted to make a difference in the universe, and another who was a warrior, but not to mention he was just so destructive. He valued battle. He was born to fight. He was born to train everything. It was just so insane. I'm not kidding. It was crazy. I mean, it's like a dynamic and like a mirror. And the same thing can be said with like General Zod and Jor-El, Kal-El's father, which we already know in the comics. Is just that there was a dynamic. I was also surprised that they were friends. That they were like friends and partners because they shared the same belief. They knew that Krypton was doomed, but their government wouldn't do jack shit about it. And that's when the dynamic began to end, and we see like they split because in his mind, he thought of General Zod as an honorable person, a good guy. But within General Zod's own demented mind, he saw somebody who wouldn't accept his idealistic vision. A vision of a Krypton where he would basically rule under. That's like a dictatorship, if you can put it that way. It was just insane. I was literally flabbergasted. Though he appeared a lot in the movie, Jor-El. Even though he was dead, he had a profound impact in the movie. And it was just... Yeah, I can't seem to contain my feelings about this movie because I could keep saying it over and over and over again that the movie is too good. Though, if I had a gripe about it, I feel as if... I think they put the fighting scenes way almost to the end. I feel that the ending, like the surprising shock at the end was literally just, oh my, just what? I never thought he would actually do it. I was just shocked. And I want to also mutter to myself during the scene when General Zod was like saying that, well, because of what you did, there's no Krypton now. And personally, in my mind, I just muttered to myself, I call it karma. You got what you deserve, jackass. But I really do like it, and the fighting was just intense. It was like an intense battle. It wasn't like with the original Superman 2, because back then the technology was limited. Here, it was just an all-out, drag-out war. Oh my god, it was just insane. And yeah, it was pretty surprising when General Zod showed up. I should mention regarding when he first appeared, he actually felt he was like a real danger, and you know right away he was a villain, and you would want to hate this bastard for what he did. I really mean it. You would want to hate this guy. Because General Zod wanted, like, a better Krypton. Like, he wanted to, like, remind the people, this is really hard to me to say it. I really mean it. There's just so much going on in that film. It makes you understand. And it's just so different from other Superman movies that it just makes you feel it. Yeah, when I finished watching the movie, I was amazed. I was just, my God, it was just incredible. And the way how it ended summed it up nicely. It's not like a much better Superman reboot than Superman Returns, because Superman Returns, it was just really bad. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it at all. But I do have to say one important thing regarding Man of Steel. I highly recommend you guys watch this movie. My review, I'm giving it a thumbs up because it is insane. It is incredible. I really enjoyed it. And I didn't really spoil much of the movie because I can't spoil how it ends because that would ruin the experience. If you want to know what happened, watch the film for yourself. Oh, and did I forget to mention I really liked the flashback scenes, how basically, more or less, how Clark Kent had to adjust to normal life. How his powers manifested. It's the same with the X-Men, like when their powers just manifested and it makes them feel different. And basically that, I believe, is what the theme of the movie is, that a person from another world enters our own and has no understanding of our normal life, of our human life, basically. It was just too much. I just liked the flashbacks, and I liked how Clark's adopted parents, they were pretty good. Kevin Costner and Diane Lane, they were pretty good. And there was one scene that I literally was just shocked, but at the same time, it sort of serves as also a kind of motivation. And I could talk about this all day if I wanted to, but it was just so good, you have to see it for yourself. I'm not going to say anything much about this other than the fact that I recommend you guys watch this movie. I would rather recommend you watch it right now. I am not kidding. You need to watch Man of Steel, and you'll get to see just how amazing it is. I also recommend watching it in 3D because that's what I did. I watched it in 3D, and my God, once you put on those glasses, you were just amazed. It was just wow, just so much awesome. I just love it. And that's about it. This is the first time I've ever done a movie review, so if things go really well, I may plan on doing more of these when I get to see more movies, though I still plan on doing one review that I know many may not like. Yeah, My Little Pony Equestrian Girls. I wouldn't really care, but hey, I like this sort of stuff, so sue me. Thanks for watching, and if you guys seen the movie, make sure you tell me what you think. But if not, What are you waiting for? Go watch the movie in theaters now. I mean it. That's about it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.